Resident Evil is a video game franchise that has been popular for many years now. There have been good games, there have been not so good games, there have been good films, and there have been not so good films. Overall, the idea behind the intellectual property is a solid one. Resident Evil has its fair share of dedicated fans. Today's file is about a superfan. He has played Resident Evil games his entire life. His name has been redacted, so let's just call him John. It all started when John was playing the demo for the latest installment in the franchise, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. He had finished the demo multiple times and discovered all its secrets. He just couldn't seem to get enough of the new game. He planned on purchasing his copy online right after midnight on the release date. That date was still a week away. He left his apartment to check his mail, something he has done many times before, but this time he had received a small package, just the right size to be a CD case. It was a blank disc with no cover, other than 7 written on it in black marker. What could this be? He thought about it. Had he ordered something and forgotten? There was no return address. Had he gotten it by mistake? He decided to put it in his PC to see if it could be read. To his amazement, it started automatically to install Resident Evil 7. He could not believe what he was seeing. He must have won a giveaway. Being active on the message boards and the fan sites must have finally paid off. He was about to play the new game a full week ahead of anyone. He took a quick selfie holding the disc. He knew his friends would be jealous. He posted it on his favorite fan site. Hashtag NewResEvil7 Hype. Hashtag first. It was gearing up to be the best day ever. The disc uploaded the game oddly fast. It must be a special internal game disc, maybe for beta testing. There was a faint sound of clicking or ticking, but it seemed to fade away, probably just the disc running. So he began to play. A few minutes in, he began to notice it was a lot different than the demo. He didn't expect it to be exactly the same, but something seemed off. After a while, he realized he could walk around and gather items with no restrictions. There were no enemies. None. Clicking. Maybe the game loaded wrong. This is probably not the final build. Even published games more often than not have updates. He tried closing it and restarting it several times. Still, no difference. At this point, John was a little disappointed, but he thought maybe he could at least see the whole game. He could walk through and find all the hidden areas and open all the doors. If nothing else, at least he could see the art of it all. So eerie, dirty, and dark. beautiful in its own way, but you wouldn't want to be there. Not in real life. What is that sound? The mansion in the game was vast. There were lots of secret doors and areas. Pieces of the place seemed to have been built on for at least 100 years. He spent hours walking through the game. He seemed to have been everywhere. I guess you can't beat a game that has no boss. He decided to walk back through just in case he missed something. He sent for pizza over his phone and started the game over, determined to find something he hadn't before. This time, it was different. He came to a wall that had always been a wall, both in the demo and in this last walkthrough. This time, it opened like a secret door. Finally, something different. This game just keeps giving. There's that clicking sound again. He kept exploring. At first, all the rooms and areas looked like more of the same place, but slowly they began to change. Some of the rooms and hallways seemed to be from other games. He couldn't quite put his finger on which ones, but more and more, the rooms got brighter and cleaner. They all felt so familiar. He knew those rooms from somewhere. It finally dawned on him. The rooms, the halls, they were exactly the same as his childhood home. How is this possible, he kept thinking. Did somehow the developers play a prank on him? Was this actually the house he grew up in? There was only one way to tell. He went up the stairs and into what would have been his old bedroom. He opened the closet door, and there it was. The crayon drawing of a clown he did when he was 5 on the back of the closet wall. This was most certainly his childhood home. It was all so unsettling. He could hardly think straight. It was getting way too creepy. And that clicking sound, almost a ticking, was getting louder. He tried to quit the game, but it wouldn't close. He didn't want to do this anymore, but it wasn't responding. He could still walk around in the game, so he kept walking, maybe to find a save point and exit the game. Anything to make it stop. And that ticking, almost like a watch. He walked out of the house in the game, but it only put him into another place. There was no outside. This place was different, but still rang a bell. After a quick look around, he realized this was the house they moved into for 6 months when he was 13. He had almost not recognized it. Then the house after that. Then the college dorm. All the same. Exactly. Only it wasn't bright anymore. It was getting darker. It felt like the air in the room was getting thin. The clicking was a ticking noise, like a watch, but larger, like a wind-up toy. Finally, in the game, he came to a door that made him start to panic. It was his apartment. The one he is in right now. Hands shaking, he walked up to the door in the game and opened it. An hour later, a pizza delivery person told the police the door opened when he started to knock. John was there, sitting at his desk, His head unnaturally bent backwards and his face was contorted. His skin all leathery, as if he'd been dead for a very long time. L-O-S-E-R was spelled out in a pool of blood under his desk. No one knows what happened. No one seen anyone come or go. No one ever heard a scream. Not a single sound. An anonymous source, after hearing about John's murder on the fan sites, claimed to be one of the people that worked on the game. He sent a few cryptic emails to some of the other fan site moderators. He claimed to be in fear of not only losing his job, but his life. He went on to confess. During the production of the game, he had had nightmares for years. It was as if a darkness had attached itself to his creative process. It felt cold, ancient, and like black sticky tar dripping on his soul. He added bits of it in the game to try to get over the feelings of dread, but it never went away. It was always a ticking, like a wind-up toy, a wind-up corpse of an evil clown. They had never sent copies of the game to anyone. No one knows what happened to the disc labeled 7, and it was never seen again. No one knows where our creativity comes from. We all have dreams and nightmares. Sometimes they show us things. Sometimes they inspire, and sometimes they threaten. We should all be mindful of our creations. The power we give them can act like a ticket for a free ride into our own reality. That is what they never tell you. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is a great game, but if you happen to find yourself in possession of a simple blank-looking disc that only has the number 7 written on it, you might want to drop it in the nearest garbage bin and walk away. Thanks for watching. If you like this story, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. This is The Vault Top Secret. Good night.